Today we're going to be talking about FITTVPP. FITTVPP stands for frequency, intensity, time, type, volume, pattern, and progression. Frequency is how often you work out. So for cardio, you should do about 3 to 5 days a week. For strength, you should hit each muscle group about 2 to 3 days a week with some rest. And then flexibility, you should stretch every day, but if you don't, 2 to 3 days a week works perfectly. Intensity is how hard you're working. For cardio, moderate intensity means you can talk, but you can't form full conversations. Vigorous intensity means you can only get out a few words at a time. For strength training, it's all about the weight for intensity. Heavier weight builds more strength, but it's also less reps. Lighter weight builds endurance, but it also is a lot more reps. And then flexibility, you should stretch until you feel mild tension, never pain. The time is how long each session lasts. For cardio, shoot for about 30 to 60 seconds per session. Strength workouts usually run from 30 to 60 minutes, but depends how much weight, sets, reps, everything you're doing. And then flexibility, you should hold each stretch from about 10 to 30 seconds. The type is what kind of exercise you're doing. So for cardio, you can pick something that uses big muscle groups like running, swimming, biking, even walking. For strength, you can use free weights, body weight, bands, or machines. Any of them work. And then flexibility, there's 3 options: static stretching, dynamic stretching, or facilitation stretching. The volume is the total amount of work you're doing. So for cardio, volume is the frequency times the intensity times the time, which is your weekly workload. For strength, volume is sets times reps times weight. A solid starting point is 2 to 4 sets of about 8 to 12 reps, not too many reps, not too less reps. And then for flexibility, you should aim for about 60 seconds stretching per muscle group. So 60 seconds for your hamstring, 60 seconds for your calf. The pattern is how your training is structured. So, other words, you're split. So, for cardio, steady state running versus high intensity interval training. So, steady state running would just be like going on a run. High intensity interval training would be like rowing or like running sprints. For strength, the pattern is your split. So you full body or upper lower body, push pull legs. It also covers how long you rest between sets. So it's just what you do every day. And then for flexibility, the pattern is when you stretch. So you can stretch after a warm-up or at the end of your workout when your muscles are warm. So you want to stretch whenever your muscles are loose and warm so you don't pull anything or hurt yourself. The progression is how you upgrade and level up your workout over time. So you should use the 10% rule. So don't increase your workload by more than 10% per week. And then if you do that, there's risk of being injured and stuff. So for cardio, you add time first. So if you're going to run, instead of running for 10 minutes, run for 10 minutes and 30 seconds. For strength, you can add weight, reps, or sets, but only change one thing at a time. Don't go from benching 130 pounds for 8 reps to go bench 140 pounds for 12 reps. Then you're going to hurt yourself. For flexibility, the only thing you can change is how long you hold. So instead of doing toe touches for 30 seconds, you can do toe touches for 45 seconds. That is what FITTVPP is, and you should include this in all of your workout plans to make sure you're progressing well and you're not getting hurt. Thank you.